either sit or you dance. And I'm saying, I'm ready to dance. Now, I may not dance as well as somebody else, but I'll dance to the best of my ability. Amen. I hope each one of us choose to dance. Not just sit around and wait for things to come to us. Let's decide that we're not going to just sit and become wallflowers. We're going to dance. Because if we choose to dance, that means we're in action. That we are making determined choices and making determined decisions to do things for ourselves. Yes. So I hope you all hope to dance. Did you guys see me boogieing down there? I noticed you didn't see that. When I started, Oscar turned his head because he didn't want to see it. He said that's going to be so embarrassing. I don't want to see that. But I did dance on down. The topic that I've chosen is to choose. Every one of us make choices. Our whole lives are dependent on the choices that we make. You know, it's not choices that somebody else makes. Somebody else can make the choices, but if we don't follow through with them, it's not our choice. We don't do it. Our lives depend on the choices that we make. And we must be determined that we're going to make the right choices by turning within to the Christ presence that's there. And when we turn within to the Christ presence that's there and make the choices based on those decisions that come as a result of our consulting with the higher power, then it all works out to our highest good. Johnny Coleman used to say it works if you work it. In other words, we're saying we've got to learn to work it. We've got to learn to make the choices that we need to make in order to do the things that we want to do that are for our highest good. And we go throughout our lives making choices, right or wrong. There was a child, there was a young lady, teenager, who made a choice that was not right for her. She went to a dance. She was underage for going to the dance. That's a choice that she should not have made. But there was a lot of drinking going on, so she started drinking. A choice that she made that she should not have made. And then she made a choice to drive the car that she drove going to the dance. That's a third choice that she had made and that she should not have made. And then she came to an intersection, and there was a signal light, and it turned red, and she made the choice to drive through the signal light. Oh boy, that's a fourth choice that she had made. And then she drove through it, and she was T-boned. She made those choices. And as a result of making those choices, she and almost everyone in that car was severely injured. But now, there are those who say, well, she was just a child. Yeah, she was a choice, but you see, she had to understand that she was making the choice. She didn't have to make the choice to go to the dance, go to the club. Right. She didn't have to make the choice to take drinks when she was underage. And more than that, she didn't have to make the choice to drive through an intersection when the signal light was against her. Now, I don't know how many of you drive through signal light when you say, I can make it.
I never.
How many of you done it?
I never.
How many? There are so many people. There are so many people. The light turns red and they go zipping through and say, I can make it.
I never.
And they've been fortunate to this point because they have not been injured. I like to remind my wife when she does it. Hey, I'm the one who's going to be T-boned, not you. But you see, choices have consequences. And when we recognize that choices that we make have consequences in our lives, then we have to be determined to make the right choices in the life about the things we do. So this is why the song that we had as a song today, dance rather than sit. Have you ever been to a dance and you sat and everybody else was dancing, you didn't dance? Have you ever been there?
Yes.
Francis, no, I'm not dancing. Francis, I'm up dancing, and I'm hoping the rest of them will dance too, but I'm going to get up and start dancing. But we have to determine that whatever is happening there, we make the choice. We are choosing something every day of our lives, everything that we do. We choose the right food. We choose the right clothes. We do. How you like this suit? I chose this one, James. But by the way, this suit was chosen about 8 years ago, so it's not a new suit. I just have not been wearing it. And I decided that I would start wearing some clothes that I have in the closet somewhere, because my wife threatened to give them all down to Goodwill. I said, wait a minute. These are my suits. And she said, but you're never wearing them. I said, well, I'm going to start wearing them. She said, well, I'll tell you this. The ones that you don't wear in the next 2 months are getting out of here. So every Sunday I come back, I'll have another suit. Because I'm making a choice to keep my clothes. But that's the thing that we see. We're always making choices.
Yes.
And the choices we make determines what we're going to do, what we're going to be, how we're going to feel. You know, we can choose for ourselves that I don't feel well today. Have you ever felt that way?
Yes.
You got up in the morning and you said, well, I don't feel like going to work, if you're working. Now, at the end of the week or the end of the month, do you expect a check? Do you expect a full check? If you made determination that you're just not gonna go to work, that I have decided that I am so important that I don't have to go every day. I can go every other day, or every once a week I can go. But you see, when time comes to get that check, and it's kind of light, and you look at it and you go back to the person and say, well, you know, my check is about half what it should be. And the person says, yes, you came to work about half the time you came. And then you realize that those were choices that I made. Mm-hmm. And I don't have to make those kind of choices. But I have made a choice in myself that I'm going to do the will of the Father that sent me. And I hope each one of us has made had that choice. That what it is that the Father has sent me, that's the choice that I'm going to make. I'm going to make a choice to serve God. As Moses said to them way back when, choose to serve the ones that you are living in now. Or you can go back and you choose the one you left. But I'm telling you, for me and my household, we're going to serve God. Yes. We're going to serve the Lord. And when you make that determination that no matter what everybody else is doing, whoever else is saying, I've made it a choice that I'm going to serve God. And so I really don't care what the others are doing. And you can't care what others are doing. Because others don't live your life. Yes. And you know the funny thing about it? You start doing what other folks are doing. And you come up short. They start laughing at you. Well, you never should have done that. And they're right. You never should have done it. But you made a choice. You made a decision that I'm going to make a choice to do the things that you are doing. But you can't do the things that I'm doing because you may not feel like I feel. You may not want the same thing of life that I want. See, all of this is true. And so I find myself always thinking about the choices that I'm making. And I hope each one of us is making the choice of finding ourselves making the determination that I'm going to make a choice about the things that I do. Because the things that I do are the things that I want to do, not the things that I'm doing because somebody else is doing it. And so often we do things because we think it's fashionable. We think we're doing it because everybody else is doing it. No matter what everybody else is doing, I'm doing it because that's what I want to do. And I'm prepared at all times to suffer the consequences of the choices that I make. You know the funny thing about people? They'll make these choices based on things that you've done. And then when they go wrong, they want to make sure that you get the blame. They don't want to take the blame because they say, well, I wouldn't have done it if Aurelia Bonnie hadn't done it, you see. But I did it because Aurelia was doing it. Well, Aurelia is not you. Aurelia is making choices for herself. That's the thing that we have to understand, that we are making choices based on the things that we think are best for our lives. And so then the song, there's you can sit, but I'd rather dance. I'd rather get up and dance, even if I'm dancing awkwardly. You see, I'd rather get up and do that than to just sit on the wall and not do anything. And there are too many people who want to sit on the wall and not do anything. Most of us will make those decisions to dance. But there are so many of us who won't decide to dance because we're saying that, well, I don't dance as well as somebody else. Who cares? Who cares whether you dance as well as somebody else? Now, if your consciousness says to you that you don't dance as well as somebody else and therefore don't dance, then that's the decision you make. But then don't blame somebody else if something has happened and you aren't chose to get the prize for dancing. You see, there's some prizes for dancing. And what are the prizes for dancing? Well, there's one that says that you're being exercised. That's a prize. There are others that sometimes, they give prizes for the best dancer. Even though your worst dance may be the best dance on the floor at the time. Take your chances. We were sitting there looking, I don't know whether you guys look at horse races, but I looked at a horse race yesterday. It was a Preakness.
Belmont.
It was what?
Belmont.
It was Belmont. Yeah, it was Belmont. And they had not had a Triple Crown winner in how many years? 27 years?
37 years.
And the one yesterday started running. And the funny thing about it, the last half a mile, he started opening up distance between those that were there. And I said, go boy! Go boy! And he started going, and when I looked around, my wife was jumping up and down, yeah, go! Go! And he won the Preakness. The first time in all of those years. Why did he decide to do that? I don't think we can ask the horse why. But something in that horse said that I don't want to not again win the Preakness and to be the Triple Crown winner. And so that horse took off and became the Triple Crown winner. Now everybody in the stand jumped up and started cheering and everything, and they were congratulating the trainer and it all. But you know about that horse? It was almost sold. They put it up for auction. And they put it up for auction. They were going to auction that horse off. And at the last moment, the owners took it off the auction.
Yes.
And I'm sure that they were very happy yesterday that they took it off the auction. But what do you think they would have felt if they had chosen to leave it on the auction and somebody else had bought it and put it out there to race and it won the Preakness?
Yes.
How do you think they would have felt?
Yes.
They would have felt that everything was against, that the universe was conspiring against them. That's what they would say. That God just didn't want me to win. It wasn't that. They made the choice to take the horse, to leave the horse and have it bought. Too many of us do that. Too many of us make decisions that we later decide that I wish I had not made that decision. How many have done that? I know I have. I'll make decisions, and as the results start coming down, and sometimes the results can be treacherous. And I'll say, why did I make that decision? And the universe says, I don't know.
You didn't consult me.
I don't make decisions for you. You make your own decisions. But we have to understand that we want the idea of having the decisions made, and we want to make the decision for us. No, the water.
Oh, water.
Yeah. She didn't get my sign. I did this.
I made a decision.
I forgot to bring it up here. I'm sorry. I know you were so encapsulated by the sermon that I broke the spell. Now I've got to reestablish the spell.
Don't take too long.
But the whole idea, Louis, the whole idea is that we make choices for ourselves. And those choices that we make are choices that can determine our life directions.
Yes.
They can determine what is happening to us in our lives. And we have to determine that I'm going to try to make the best determinations, because I'm going to go to the Father that dwells within.
Yes.
And ask for directions.
Right.
How many of you have gone to the Father within and asked for the directions? How many of you done that? Okay, I know I've done it. And I've followed those directions. And every time I've done that, it truly did work out for my highest good.
Yes, yes.
And I thought that, wow, if I had done what I originally decided to do,
Right.
this would not have worked out well for me. But I know that when I make the decisions based on the determination that I get in the direction from my Father, that I am solely well equipped to do the things that I need to do. And that's where the song says, you can sit, but I'd rather dance. I'll make a choice that I'm going to get out there and do things when things may not seem like the best things for me. But when I go into the Father and the Father gives me the directions and I make those decisions, then those are the decisions that I'm willing to live with. Those are the decisions that I will make, and no matter what happens in my life, that's where I'm going to go. And I'm going to stay, and I'm not going to be embarrassed about the decision that I made, because I made them as a result of going within. You see, I'm not afraid, I'm not ashamed to go within and say, God, I really need your help. I'm here at a crossroads, and I really don't know what I need to do. But I know that you do. I know that you know how to make the right decision for me, so that whatever I'm doing will be for my highest good and will affect nobody else, just for my highest good. And when I do it for my highest good, it works out well for me. And so then each one of us should take that kind of attitude, that we're going to go within and we're going to truly listen to the Father within. And allow that Father to allow us to move according to its directions. And whatever it says in our lives, then we're going to do that way, and no matter what it may seem. You see, sometimes the direction that the Father gives us may seem pretty rocky. Sometimes it may seem that, hey, this is not the right way to go, but keep following that path. If you keep following that path, then it works out for your highest good. And it comes out, and you start smiling at the other end and saying, well, I knew it was going to be that way anyway. I knew it was going to be that way because I had been given direction from God. But too often, we start down the road, and the road gets kind of rocky at times. And when it gets kind of rocky, we want to back away from it and say, well, God, you must not have understood what I asked. I asked such and such a thing. And this direction you've given me is not the direction that I want. Well, you ask God for direction. Now, why are you determined to tell God what to do? God knows what to do. The universe knows what to do. It's all serving you for your highest good and trying to determine whether or not you're going to follow directions. And most of us at times don't want to follow directions. We want to take off and do things for our highest good that are not for our highest good at times. It's like this young lady, this teenager, that drove the car to the dance, underage, and she went in, and she said she was a high age, started drinking in the club, knew that she was too young to drink, but she drank anyway. Drove the car when they left the club, and then drove through a red light and were T-boned. Now, when that happens, then I'm sure that there were those who said, poor child. Because I would have said, poor child, it's too bad it happened to her. But we don't know all of the circumstances involved. In fact, we don't know all of the circumstances happening in anybody's life. For us to make decisions about their decisions, we can only make decisions about our own decisions.
Right.
And once we make decisions about our own decisions, those are the things that will direct our lives on the path that we want them to be.
Yes.
And so when we direct our feet down the path that we want to be, because we have listened to the voice of the Father that dwells within, it works for us. It worked for us because we let it work.
Yes.
You see, our consciousness has brought us to where we are now.
And our choices.
But it's not where it can take us. Our consciousness can take each one of us farther than where we are done before. But too often we decide that, well, this is where it is, and this is where I think it's going to end. No. Understand that you have much more of your life to live. Understand that there are some things that you must do. There are some things that you must accomplish. And you cannot accomplish if you've quit.
Right.
And you cannot quit if you've gone to the Father and asked for directions, even though the directions right now in the beginning, giving you the things that you want. They're the directions that are giving you the life that you want. I am always amazed in my life when I go to the Father. And maybe I shouldn't, because I stand up here and preach about it. But when things happen to me and I'll pray about it and they come out so well, and I said, God, how do you know that, God? And God says, I know that because I am the creator.
Yes.
I created your life. I am allowing you to live as part of me. I'm giving you the things that you need to do. You asked for my best advice. And I'm giving you my best advice, and how dare you decide that you're going to decide that you know more about what I want for you than you want for you. Notice that we have to always leave it to the Father. Now, too many of us, how was that song that they used to sing back in the day when I'm talking about the Baptist church day? I grew up in the Baptist church, and I soon left. But that song, you take your burdens to the Lord.
Yes, leave them there. Leave them there. Right.
How many of us have taken our burdens to the Lord, picked them up and brought them back? And too many of us take our burdens to the Lord even now. Even now as New Thought students, we take our burdens to the Lord and we pick them up and we bring them back. And then we say, God, you never did answer that prayer. And God said, well, you never did leave your burdens there. You've got to understand that you have a task to do yourself.
Right.
And that is to understand that God is always answering prayers. God is always answering prayers. Because we live in God and we move in God and we have our being in God. And God knows what is best for each one of us.
Yes.
And when we find ourselves in that position, to allow the God presence to make those decisions for us, it all works out. Works out very well for us. There's no need to sweat, as they say, because the things that we are doing are just so good, and that God is giving us the best wisdom and the best whatever it is that we need for the task that we need to have. And too many of us don't believe that. And that's this decision. That's the problem that we have so often. That God gives us the decision and we don't believe it. We say to God, I just don't believe what you're telling me. And the universe is saying, then why did you ask me? Why did you ask me? If you weren't going to follow the direction that I've given you, why did you ask me? And too many of us don't even bother to ask because we've already decided that the universe will not help us do what we need to do. Please know that God is in you. We live and move and have our being in God. Please know that. Please know that God is there for our highest good. Please know that. Please know that God wants the highest for each one of us. Know that. Don't be doubting it. Don't be deciding that, well, it may or may not be true. Understand that it will be true. Now, the question that somebody will ask, well, how do I know that God did it? How do I know that direction I got from God? God will let you know the decision that it makes. It will let you know the decision that you make. There's something about when God makes a decision and you follow that decision. There's something about it that you then know that it's a decision that God has made for you. And too often we find ourselves wondering, well, is this from God or is this from ego? We have to understand that they're not from ego. That from God, and God will let us know that. Yes, Oscar.
I think again, it's the ego, because when you come to it and you know that God is in you, people will make the mistake, and then for the first time they say, "Lord, have mercy."
Yeah.
They should have had talked to him before
Right.
they made the action.
Right.
But that's a tendency people have, and we follow each other. I
Right.
think about the joke of the two guys that were stealing chickens.
Yeah.
So they had cut a hole in the fence, and the guy grabbed the chicken. The guy cut his arm off, and he told his buddy, "Now you get yours."
Yeah. I got mine and gone. You got yours and come on. Yeah, I understand. And too often we make those decisions and we say that I got mine and gone. Ego, eliminating God. We cannot eliminate God. Please understand that. We live and move and have our beings. We do not or cannot eliminate God because we live in God.
Yes.
There's nothing we do that can eliminate God. Now, ego can boast and do all it wants to do, but we cannot eliminate God. We may not listen to God, but we cannot eliminate God. And when we understand that God is there for our highest good, then it works out for us. It works out for us for our highest good. And that's a lesson that I think we all need to learn. That we need to listen to the advice that we get from within.
Yes.
And when we listen to the advice that we get from within, it all works out for our highest good. Join with me, please. Father, Mother God, we are certainly grateful for these moments that we've had in order to talk about choices that we make. And how important it is for us to listen to your guidance as we make those choices. And not depend on egoic kind of choices. And we know that so often the universe, those around us, those are part of us, will make choices that are not based on you. They are based on themselves. They are based on choices that they think they've made by themselves without your help. But I am open, Father. I'm open for you to guide, lead, and direct us. And I'm asking for all of those who are here at the congregation today that you make choices in their lives that will help them live a better life. And we give thanks for that. And so it is.
Amen.